Alright boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to start putting the hot rod back together. And if you watched the last video, there I go, can't talk again. If you watched the last video, you saw we have the motor apart because it has a blown head gasket or two in maybe all 8 holes. It's not a blown head gasket in the typical sense, it's just a broken water seal, if you will. And when that happens, all it does is it allows the engine to consume water by way of the head gaskets. The copper head gaskets alone by themselves do not seal water very well, so you have to put sealer on them. And if it ever detonates or has pre-ignition or anything like that, it breaks the water seal, if you will, and allows it to pull water in. And we don't like that. Water don't burn well. So we're going to finish cleaning the parts up. The block, I think you can see right there, the block is already clean. The heads over here behind me are already clean. So pretty much the only thing left to clean up is the fasteners, nuts and bolts, things like that. And also we need to anneal the copper head gaskets. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, annealing is just resoftening the gaskets, if that makes any sense. We need them to be pliable and impressionable and need to be able to have them clamp down flat between the block and the head. And more importantly, we need them to be able to have the steel wiring that's in the block cut into the gasket good. So, well, let's get started on it. Alright, to be honest, I'm not totally sure how good this map gas is going to work, but we are going to try it. And I don't even know if I got enough to get through this, but oh, here we go. Alright, so we got those gaskets annealed, and what you're looking at is this one is annealed and still has the oxidation on it. This one is annealed and has been scrubbed with Scotch-Brite pad. Now this is pretty standard practice type stuff, so I know a lot of you guys are probably like, I can't believe you're reusing the head gaskets after they've been blown. But I'm going to show you the area of the head and the head gasket from the driver's side, if you remember how bad they looked on the car and before they were cleaned up. And I'll show you that right now. Okay, so what you're looking at, this is the driver's side head and the matching head gasket. And you can see, I think you can see right there, focus, somewhere in there, yeah, right there, it says DF, driver's side front. And then I know this is the driver's side head because of how clean this chamber is. And right there is the area that was leaking the most, or the most obvious, I should say. And it's very clean and very flat right there. So if you look at the head gasket, same thing. Hopefully that focuses. Focus camera. There we go. So they both look really good right there. And of course the heads and the block and everything were fresh when they came out of the machine shop, and the only use they have on them is what you've seen in the past few videos. So I highly doubt that there's any kind of warpage or anything. And I'm not really all that worried about it, to be honest with you. So I'm going to Scotch-Brite the other head gasket, and we're going to get started putting the heads on it. Alright, since we're getting this thing put back together, time to get the gasket sprayed up with some copper seal. And what I did do, since I annealed the gaskets, I also went back and Scotch-Brited them real good by hand to get rid of some of the oxidation that comes on the surface once you heat the thing up to red hot. So let's spray them. This stuff's pretty nasty. Probably shouldn't be spraying it around anything that matters, but there's nothing in here that's gonna hurt. Alright, this one's coated real good. I already sprayed the other one over here. Let this side tack up, we'll flip them over. Spray that side, apply the sealer, and rock and roll. Okay, we got the head gaskets all sprayed with copper coat, and we need to get the sealer on the block, the diesel silicone from Ford, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. But we need to wipe the block and the heads down with some acetone, lacquer thinner, brake clean, something like that that doesn't have petroleum in it. We want to make sure that that sealer sticks in it on it as good as possible. But one thing, you know, I think all the hot rodders or anybody that does any kind of stuff like this or works on cars in the garage or whatever, they use those blue shop towels. And I'm sure you can see some in the shot somewhere. But anyways, the regular blue shop towels, you get them everywhere, like this. They work good, but man, one thing I just picked up on were these towels right here. They're made by, or they're sold under the name of Wipe All, and it looks like, yeah, there's the roll right there. They're kind of expensive in the grand scheme of things. I think I got them on Black Friday for $29 for that roll right there. But that roll is huge. Look at this thing. That is a giant roll of towels, and I would fully expect that that lasts me somewhere in the neighborhood of a year. But anyways, they're tough. Look at that. It's like a regular rag, and I'm not getting paid for this or anything like that. I'm just really impressed on how good they are. So anyways, I'm gonna soak this thing with some lacquer thinner or acetone or whatever I have sitting here, get the deck of the block wiped off, the deck of the heads wiped off. I'm gonna get the sealer applied and hopefully get it together here in the next 3 minutes on the video, something like that. We'll see. All right, so we got the heads wiped off. I just want to show you that there's nothing missing off of that towel. I know that's like not a really big deal for a lot of people, but if you use the blue towels all the time, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, everything's cleaned up. I think we're ready to go back together now. Okay, so part 2 of this stuff that I like to use. If you guys do any of this kind of stuff and you haven't heard of this sealer, it ranks right up there with welding the heads to the block. In this particular case, this motor did not have this stuff on it to begin with, because it didn't have any. So this is it. This is magic in a tube. Ford Motorcraft something or other focus camera, and I think we call it diesel silicone, I guess, because I think you can see it right there. It says something about 7.3 liter diesel, blah blah blah. This is some serious business right here. So let's get this stuff on the block and on the heads and get ready to drop some heads on it. Okay, we got the block all gooped up with the diesel silicone stuff. Now in this case, I put the head gaskets back exactly like I got them, side for side and front for front and all that stuff, and I think you can see in the reflection there right at the top, it's marked DF, driver front. The reason I do that, in this particular case, the block is O-ringed, and when they O-ring the block, I think the O-rings are located off the cylinders themselves, and if they're a little bit different from side to side, the O-ring won't sit in the same place and has potential leak. So, kind of like I did before. Anyways, maybe it's OCD, maybe it doesn't do anything, maybe it does, but I'm putting it back in the same place. I've done it like that for years. Everybody does things different, and here we go. Let's get to the messy part here. La, da, 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 da. It's like baking a cake. Okay, I gotta Google real quick what the torque specs are on these head studs because I seem to have forgotten. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, that's weird. When you Google small block Ford head stud torque specs, it said something like nobody puts a small block Ford in a Mustang, they all LS swap them. That's kind of weird. I guess I have to go to ARP's website to find the answer for that. Okay, time to put the passenger side gasket on. And I know you really can't see this in the camera, but it actually says this side towards the head. And I know that the grooves that are pressed into the gasket are from the O-ring and the block and all that good stuff. So it can only go on one way. And we drop it in place. And it slides down like that. We grab the freshly goobered up cylinder head. Hopefully grab it in a way where we don't smash our fingers. All right, we're gonna get the lash caps put on. That's these little doodads right there. Focus. Come on, camera. There you go. Focus. Lash caps. Get them bad boys put on. I got the headers bolted up and the crossovers bolted up and all that good stuff. Alternator belt back on and is adjusted. Time to get the rocker arms set, or on and set, I should say. And then we gotta make a trip to Summit and get some intake gaskets. Make sure these things are down all the way. That oil gets under them and it hydraulics that little lash cap and it doesn't want to go down all the way. Time to get the rocker arms on it. Now on these, on the shaft rockers, I got to rotate the motor over because of the way the shafts bolt down to these stands. And then it'll be time to set them. And yeah, have some fun because setting rockers is really fun. All right, I got this snazzy little bump button over here wired up to the starter solenoid so we can turn it over and get the lifters in the right position. And it looks like we already got that one right. Hold the rockers down so the push rods stay seated. And repeat that process 8 times. So, yay. All right, got the intake all cleaned up. Everything is pretty much going according to plan. So we're gonna get the end rail sealed up and drop the intake in place. And we're not too far from firing it up. All right, we got some rocker arms set. We got the valve covers on. Gonna put the throttle return spring on because we like the throttle to return. That could be an ugly ride if it didn't. All right, I think I got everything buttoned up, topped off with fluids, plugged in, zipped up, zapped, whatever, and we are ready to fire this thing up again. I suspect that it's going to be really, really rich because I had been trying to correct what I thought was a lean problem when in fact it was just burning water, or trying to. So it's probably going to run pretty bad, like rich wise, for a minute or so until I get that taken out of the fuel table. I put some old plugs in it because, well, it's going to run rich and probably ruin a brand new set of plugs, so we're going to see how that goes. Phone beeps always when I start talking. Anyways, well, let's get it fired up, see what it sounds like. Okay, well, we got it fired up, and no leaks, no fuss, no nothing. It actually worked like it's supposed to. Yeah, so mission accomplished. Today being Thursday, it looks like we're planning on going to the track on Sunday. So just kind of play it by ear and hope the weather holds out. It looks like we got good weather forecasted, but we'll see if it actually happens. So, having said all that, that is the end of this video, guys. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button. Yeah, that thing. Hit the like button. And the notification thing so you see when I put the new videos up. Hopefully we'll have some progress this weekend and good weather. Fingers crossed. Thanks, guys. See you in the next video.